Hey guys, it's Delora Dabbles here, and today we're going to talk about all the different kinds of incenses and ways to burn incense in your spiritual or meditative practice, right? So we're going to go from most processed to least processed because a lot of spiritualists believe that the more processed a natural element is, the less magical it is, and the least processed, aka how it is found in nature, is the most magical way of using it and has the most magical potency. Whether you or I believe that, that's just how I decided to do this video because it is a very common belief and I haven't exactly made up my mind on it, right? So, starting first, we have our stick incense. I love this style of stick incense. It is very high quality incense. It is the Japanese style incense. Most of these imported Japanese style incenses are going to be higher quality stuff. This brand is my personal favorite, but it doesn't mean it has to be your personal favorite at all. I really like the way this frankincense incense smells, but frankincense is one of those really funny um, examples where the incense stick smells very different from the oil, smells very different from the burning resin, for sure. So the incense smells the least like the natural resin, but this is something that when your friends come into your house and they smell, they go, I really like that. What air freshener is that? And you're like, it's frankincense, incense, but it does have that perfumey note to it. What I really like about it is that you can break this incense and burn smaller amounts of it at a time. And incense is favored for a lot of different reasons because it's light and go. Just light it and go. Like you don't need anything else. You just need the stick. You need a bowl of sand to hold your stick in. Pay no attention to the wire at the top. We're going to talk about that later. Or, like a dish, just an incense bowl, something like that, stick thing to put your stick in. That's all you need. It's extremely low maintenance, and it's where most people, like me, started to burn incense from. It is the most heavily processed, and one of the stigmas with incense sticks not being potent or magically powerful also come from the way that it was processed in the past. So cheap incense, very, very cheap stick incense in the past, used manure as a filler. Shit as a filler. Shit, literal shit. So if you are burning incense as an offering to a deity and you are burning shit on their altar, they're going to get really mad at you and they're going to ignore you and you're not going to get anything from that, right? So it is that stigma, I believe, that most people do not believe that stick incense is magically potent. Moving on, because a lot of these also do have chemicals. So your smoke shops incense that comes on the stick, it's not going to be very magically potent. Now, there are incense sticks that are made and magically crafted, and those I believe are different. I actually have one. I forget where they are because I really only like to burn them outside, but they've actually got resin on them, like resin like this, crunched up and rolled onto them. So they smell very potent. It's kind of like burning resin on a coal. They just put it on a stick. And it's very interesting. It's very old style, high quality incense sticks. So you really get a wide range when it comes to incense sticks. Another kind of incense that is processed similar to the incense sticks are these logs here. This is sandalwood. I'll be honest with you, I don't really like the smell of sandalwood until I smelled this and was like, that smells lovely. This is basically processed in a very similar way to these, except these are made into logs, big fat logs, and these are made into little skinny sticks. But similar. And these are very, very nicely made. It's basically just they mulched up the sandalwood and pressed it with some other stuff, but it's very nice, very natural. So incense sticks can be natural and lightly processed, or they can be very heavily processed, and you need to use your own discernment for that. The next, less processed, like it's a little bit processed because it has to be turned into an oil, and these are essential oils. I have a box, and obviously I don't want them to fall out, but I love this box. It's such a good box. And one of my bottles keeps leaking. I'm not really sure how it keeps leaking, but it keeps leaking. Very interesting. Anyway, it's just coloring the wood a certain color, which is fine by me. It's probably one of these darker yellow ones. Anyway, yes, I have a few different oils, and I think that's my myrrh oil that's the most used up. Oh no, that's not my myrrh oil. This is a special unlabeled oil that someone made for me. I love whenever my magical friends make me oil. It's fantastic. This is my myrrh. I'm so sorry. That was a really weird tangent. I'm so sorry. So this is the frankincense. Oil is lightly processed, kind of like how this is lightly processed, right? So it's lightly processed and still considered to be very magically potent. This is a oil burner. So an oil diffuser is more recent. It kind of, it does a different system of binding the oil to the water particles and steaming them into the air, right? Some of them use heat, some of them are cold diffusers that don't use any kind of heat. This uses heat, obviously, because it is a traditional burner. It is burning the water. So what you're going to do is you're going to put water in here and 1 or 2 drops only of your oil into that water. Your oil is going to bind to the steam and to the water particles as the steam is rising out of the top, because the oil will sit on the top. The water will boil, like not boil, but the water will heat up and steam off of the bowl and carry those oil particles on the top of the water with it. The only thing with an oil burner that you need to watch out for is whenever you run out of water. You want to make sure that this is full at all times. If it gets down to about like here, then you will need to put more water into it, obviously, which is going to slow down the process, right? So if you've got a good steaming going on, but you're running low on water and you need to put in more, put in more. It'll stop steaming for a few minutes, and then it'll kick back up again. And you're just going to put a little tea light candle in there, right? So one of these babies. Yeah, and so this is a nice way to burn incense and to get that good spiritually smell, and it's also really good for aromatics. Now, I need to tell you guys about something very important that I'm sure a lot of you are already aware of. There are synthetic oils on the market. So how can you know whether something is synthetic or whether something is natural? You're going to take one of these coals here. This is an Instalight, so it's going to smell a bit like accelerant when you first light it. Let that smell waft off, that accelerant burn up and waft off. And then you're going to drop a little thing of oil on here, right? So my bottles, as you can see, don't have drippers in them, so I have just a dripper that I use, and I will take and drop it here. If it smells like burnt plastic, burnt hair, just really, really foul, burnt plastic, it's synthetic, obviously. If it smells like just weird, like, oh, that smells like pine, or oh, that smells like a burnt flower or burnt oranges, you're fine. You're fine. It's gonna smell a little weird. Some of them, especially the myrrh. The myrrh is gonna smell a little like butt because myrrh is a very delicate scent. It doesn't like direct burning. Even the resin doesn't like to be burned directly. So, yeah, this is just to test whether it's synthetic or not. You're looking for that burnt plastic smell. If you don't know what burnt plastic smells like, trust me, you'll know it when you smell it. Right. So that is how you diffuse the oil and how you check to see if your oil is real. Now we're going to move on to the resin and the herb. So this is just a burning bowl. As you can see, this is a bowl that I got in an antique store. I don't know if it was a sugar bowl or just a pretty goblet. It's really cool. I use it as a censer, which is just a fancy word for a burning bowl. What I like about this bowl is that I have these handles here. Sometimes these still get hot, depending on what I've got going on in here. If it's like a legit fire, I will not grab it by the handles. If These, like, I will usually just feel, sometimes you're better with the back of your fingers to feel if it's hot, and then just kind of like, and feel if it's, and then you can touch it, but you're better off just grabbing it from down here. And it's not going to burn you no matter what you're burning here, because you've got a bunch of sand in it, which is going to keep this part cold so that you can grab it. This stand is also very important for a burning bowl to have. You can get a cauldron, but they don't often come with these stands. I find that repurposing things is great. I love to repurpose stuff. This wire is here because I like to burn resin in this by using an indirect burning method, i.e. not a coal. So whenever you burn resin on a coal, any resin that's not myrrh or a delicate resin, right? So like your frankincense and stuff, you're going to light this, you're going to let it sit and develop a nice layer of ash on it first, and then you're going to drop one, maybe two pieces of your incense on to it, right? And you're kind of stuck with it. There's no way to turn this thing off and on. You just got to let it burn. The first time I burned this, my whole house was full of smoke before I realized it. Because I was just fiddling with it and like, wow, this is burning a lot. This smells really weird and different from everything else frankincense I've ever burned. What's going on here? I was burning it very hot and too fast. There was a lot of smoke. Had to air my house out and everything. And after that, I was like, there has to be a better way to do this. And guys, there's a better way to do this. There's a much better way to burn this resin. So you've got your bowl of sand. I have this wire, and I just kind of, rigged this wire around until I had two wires going this way and then two adjustable wires, right? These are just wrapped around those two. These are like anchor wires, right? And these are just sliding wires, so that I can move these and make them as big or as small, like as big of an opening or as tight together as I want them to be, right? And you've got your bowl of sand in the bottom. You're going to do your tea light. Tea light. You're going to put that tea light right in the bottom. And I like to dig my tea light into the sand so that there's a bit more distance between the flame. Oh yeah, don't get sand inside your tea light. Oh God. Don't get sand inside your tea light. You don't want your flame to crackle because it's got a bunch of impurities in it. All right, so we are gonna start this baby up. And I'm gonna move my camera so you can see exactly what I'm doing, because this is a very interesting and fun process. Let me move my coals out of the way. So, light on. Light the candle. Simple first step, right? You're going to get you some tin foil, right? I use just one layer of tin foil for my frankincense and sturdy resins. For myrrh, I think I would double it up, but I haven't really burned myrrh resin before. But since it is more delicate, I assume you would want more protection so that it burns at a lower heat point, basically is what that means. So frankincense burns at a higher heat point, so you want just one layer of nice heavy-duty tin foil. You're going to make sure that these are kind of close together. You're going to put your tin foil with your resin on it onto the candle. As you can see, we've already got some nice smoke coming off immediately. Notice how the smoke is white, light gray smoke. That is important. You are getting a very, very good burn off of this. And if your burn is too direct, you can move your flame, or you can move your tin foil until it is burning a little bit less with the flame directly on it. And you can do that to ensure that you keep that nice white gray light smoke. If your smoke is black and dark gray, you're not going to get all of the notes, right? So like, I guess flavor notes, right? You're not going to get all of the flavor notes off of the resin if it is just burning black and scorching. it's not going to be as effective for what you want, and it's not going to smell as good, and it's going to fill your whole house up with smoke. I can burn the same amount of resin over a much longer period of time, right? And it not fill my entire house with smoke. And I get the really, really nice, rich frankincense notes. Now, what does frankincense smell like when you burn it as a resin? It smells very piney. There's something else in it. So it's not just pine. There's something else that I've never smelled before, that I've also never smelled before in the oil or the stick incense. It's just a very unique smell. And I think that that's probably a very hard smell to try to replicate, but it smells very pine. It's an acquired smell, so it's not going to be super perfumey. Your friends aren't going to say, wow, this smells delicious. They're going to be like, what are you burning? Are you burning something? Is something on the stove? What are you cooking? Right? It's an acquired smell. So, but I do really like this smell. The more I burn it, the more I like it. It's great. Now, let's say, all right, this smell is everywhere. I've filled my house with this smell. I'm done with it. Where's the off switch? The off switch is super simple. Lift the tin foil out, place it somewhere that is, heat resistant. In this case, oh, well, whatever. I'll just put it there. Tin foil will cool down very, very quickly, which is why it is absolutely fantastic for burning resin on. Boom. Right there. Fantastic. Now you have just to blow out the candle, right? Just blow out the candle, you turned it off, right? All that smoke. All right, so that is the different ways to burn incense. So you've got a direct method of burning incense, an indirect method of burning incense, or resin, I should say. All of this amazing stuff. I hope that this can help you figure out the way that is best for you to do this kind of work, and based on your spiritual practice, which one you think would work well for you. I like to lay a bunch of options out in front of someone and let them choose what they want to do, as opposed to telling them this is the only valid way. We all have our own beliefs, right? So if you have any questions about any of these ways of burning incense or herbs, you can burn herbs directly on a coal too. You can burn your dried herbs. You don't need to put your sage in a smudge stick. You can burn any loose dried herb onto a coal, and you're going to get a lot of smoke off of that. So it's great for purification ceremonies, exorcisms, things like that. Whenever you need a lot of smoke, right? Great for cleansings and stuff. Now, inside your house for aromatic purposes, your less smoky options are going to be best usually. So, again, any questions, put them down in the comment section down below. If it's really complicated, I'll make another video. If it's not, I'll just answer you with a reply. And if you really liked this video, of course, hit the like button so I know what you guys are into and I can accommodate you on this channel. And until next time, happy dabbling and bye-bye.